Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us on your journey to building your personal brand. Today, we'll be talking about your Copilot setup and configurations. I'm Shivani Sundaresan. I'm a software engineer at Microsoft and an alumni of the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor.
I'm Grant Harris. I'm a software engineer at Microsoft, and I'm an alum of the University of Chicago. Now, we've been talking a little bit about using GitHub Copilot, but here let's really dive into what your GitHub Copilot app can do for you. So here you can see on my GitHub Copilot desktop app, I have the repository from last session cloned, and I have our basic chat window where I can chat with GitHub Copilot, ask it questions, and ask it to do things. Let's dive a little deeper behind the curtain into the settings here. Here, I can configure things such as where my repositories are stored. I can change the theme. If I go to my accounts, I can change which GitHub account is connected and add an account here. In my sessions, I can change things such as tool permissions. I can also set agent instructions. For example, let's say I want my agent to avoid technical jargon as much as possible. Now, every prompt that I send to GitHub Copilot, it will apply these instructions automatically. Moving further, I can see the themes. I can change the visual appearance of my Copilot app, and I can also set accessibility settings here. These settings down here will be covered in later sessions.
So think of the repository as a project that Copilot can work with, and a session as a specific conversation about that project. You can start a new session when your task or goal changes within your project. Once you open a new session, you are able to see the model and the effort. So the model is the AI that is doing the reasoning. You can choose a different model depending on your needs. And the effort controls how much reasoning time you want it to spend. So for a lower effort task, such as asking a quick question about the project, you can choose a lower effort. Whereas for more complex tasks, you can use a higher effort.
Let's talk a little bit about the default mode, interactive mode. So when I'm asking Copilot a question and I want it to use its default settings, I don't want it to do any extra thinking or necessarily execute things without my approval. I'll just use standard interactive mode.
Next, we have plan mode. I want to add a new hobby section to our existing portfolio from episode 3. And this is the prompt that we're going to use. Plan a new hobby section that matches the existing episode 3 website. And I also asked it to tell me which files it would change so that we can approve it and then actually implement this plan.
Yeah, something interesting that Copilot does is it creates a work tree for every session. So this work tree allows me to keep that work for that session independent from all other sessions I might have, even if those sessions are in the same repository. Let's see what Copilot comes up with here.
So now Copilot has come up with a plan, and we can view this plan by clicking on View Full Plan. And I'm going to give it a quick review to see what it came up with. So it seems like it got most of my hobbies right. So I do love hiking and reading. And if I want to add a new hobby or remove a hobby, this is where I can go and prompt it again to edit the plan or modify it before actually implementing it. In this case, I like the plan that Copilot came up with, and I want to go ahead and implement it.
Great. So I'll go ahead and improve and implement this plan using Autopilot mode. So this is the third mode, in addition to interactive and plan. And Autopilot mode allows us to give Copilot the keys, basically. It allows us to let Copilot run with no user input once we've given it a plan and once we've confirmed all design decisions. So this puts more of the control into Copilot's hands. So it's important to make sure that you have a clear and concrete plan before using Autopilot mode. But it does allow for us to need a little less user input and allow Copilot to work autonomously. And let's see, it came up with an addition to our website here. You can see we have our hobbies down here. It got hiking, nature photography, it got reading. And I think this looks good to me.
Looks great to me too. To recap everything we learned during this episode, first we went through the Copilot settings and modifying instructions to customize how Copilot supports you. And we also went through creating new sessions to separate your work.
Yeah, we also talked about the three modes you can use with Copilot: interactive, plan, and autopilot, and some of the pros and cons associated with each of those modes.
Thank you guys for watching. You will find links to the resources in the description of this video, and stay tuned for more AI learnings in the next episode.